This is Luke with Essential TV.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Ricky.
And we are here to talk about The Walking Dead and last night's mid-season finale. So, spoilers, if you did not see last night's mid-season finale of The Walking Dead, we will be talking about what happens during it. So if you don't want to know anything about last night's episode, this is not the stream for you. I also wanted to point out that we can't see every message that comes through, so please send us questions and comments, but don't be offended if we don't respond, because there's a very good chance we missed it. They scroll up, it's hard to see, and also we're getting them through on a delay. So you might say something, we might not see it for 20 seconds. So, Periscope, what are you going to do? So, what did you guys think?
I might be the minority, but I really enjoyed the episode. I thought one of my favorite episodes of the season. I thought every storyline they had going was really exciting. I was on my toes the entire time. That's me.
I liked the episode, but I still felt that it was a letdown. I expected more from it, I think.
I did too. I did enjoy it. I thought it was one of the best episodes of the season, since there was a lot of filler episodes in my opinion. It left you really hanging, which I don't like being left hanging that much, you know?
That long.
I wish it was a little bit more to the end. Maybe if they at least would have had Rick and company get to the armory, and not just like to the point of when that annoying kid that's such a wuss.
Yeah.
Grow up, man.
And somebody mentions, like I said, we're on a delay. I expected some resolution. I didn't really expect resolution, but I think I expected just some more.
I expected a bigger death than just Deanna. Like when you see Glenn like climb over the wall and he sees Maggie, I was like, shit, she's about to die.
Right.
And then that's it.
That was a pretty good moment though. That escape up the ladder was exciting, but I agree. I mean, not to diminish Deanna's importance, but if she's the death in this episode, it doesn't feel as big as I expected. Nothing wrong with Deanna.
You kind of knew she was going to go.
Yeah. Sam had to open his mouth. I think everyone hates Sam so much at this point.
But the question is, who do you hate more, Sam or Morgan?
Or Ron.
Or Ron. The apples do not fall far from the trees with Ron.
You were hoping for a Maggie death? That's just... no.
She's a pregnant woman. Who hopes for Maggie's death?
Another baby?
Also,
who needs babies?
Did Glenn mention to Enid, he said, my pregnant wife? Did he know Maggie's pregnant?
Yeah.
He's known?
But they hinted at it before she revealed it. So I think that if you were watching, it was like episode 2 or 3, whenever he leaves, before he has the whole dumpster incident, they basically hinted at Maggie being pregnant. So he knew.
Okay, so he knows.
Morgan needs to go. I concur.
Porch Dick Jr. is a great nickname for Ron.
But which one? It's Porch Dick the second and third, apparently.
That's a great
things that happened in the comics that could have fit into this episode to make it more exciting, and I think we all expected that. I don't want to spoil too much from the comics, because I think a lot of these things are actually coming, but there are certain events from the comics that I expected to see in this mid-season finale that did not happen.
If you haven't watched the episode yet, this is not the place for you, because we are spoiling the whole episode.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about. And again, we are on a delay, so send your messages, but we might miss some, and we might take a little while getting back to you because we don't see it.
Okay, so we got some points to focus on. Let's start with your favorite, Eugene.
Okay. I just want to say we've been asking for how long? At least a week, 2 weeks maybe. The voice on the radio saying, "Help! Who is it? Could it be Glenn? Could it be Rick?" It was Eugene.
Help!
Help! Help, y'all! So that was Eugene on the radio, and I think he didn't even realize he had the button in. Whatever. There's a lot of Eugene hate going around. And I'm not one of those people. I actually like Eugene. Yeah, I'm not defending Eugene because he is completely useless. But I like him as a character to break things up. He's like the comic relief, right? And if they keep him alive just to be useless but not annoying, I can live with that. It's frustrating whenever there's someone like Morgan who's just doing things that irritate us, and like Gabriel who serves no purpose but is also not that entertaining to watch. Like, I like a good villain.
His hair is too red, too.
That's Abraham.
That's
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. My bad.
They both have the craziest hair in the show.
Yeah, so.
I like a good villain.
Yeah, except Eugene can pick a lock. He's finally useful.
That is within his skill set.
That was kind of funny.
So, but also that whole story with it's Eugene and it's Tara and Rosita and they're stuck in a garage. I think it was bad for the pacing of the episode. Like, we could have lived without that.
And we will get
fit more in.
We will get to the group that owns everything. We'll get to them later in this discussion.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about there. We'll save it for the end. So, Carl and Ron. We all expected. We've been waiting for a while for Ron to try to kill Carl or Rick or both.
It was like a middle school fight with like all the fans like around the TV just screaming, "Fight, fight, fight!"
Right, but it's like it's so frustrating because Carl, he disarms him, but then he covers for him, right?
I don't know what his deal is, and maybe he feels bad for the kid. I don't know, but Carl's kind of, softened up a bit since, of the previous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked Killer
Except
Carl.
I finally like
Carl needs to take him out.
Carl's just been a little like know-it-all for the whole time. Like when Ron's getting like the gun instructions, Carl just like keeps like butting in.
Right.
And then finally
Well,
when
it's like
Carl holds
Carl-
the gun up to Ron, I was like, there's the Carl.
But Carl wants to help Ron, I think, and I don't know if it's because he feels guilty because his dad killed Ron's dad or because of Enid or something. But Carl is like bending over backward. Yeah, someone says Carl. What is it? Nikki Nicole says Carl wants to be friends. Listen, I guess there's not a lot of other people in Carl's age group around, so that kind of makes sense.
And
but,
Enid left.
But it's like, dude was going to kill you, right? And so, I don't know, Carl just seems a little bit more forgiving, and I agree, Carl does need to cut his hair.
Yes, he does. And that hat's gotta go. Come on.
I think once they lose the hat, that means like he doesn't believe in his dad anymore, so they can't get rid of the hat.
I think the hat's kind of symbolic.
It's too much of a metaphor.
Like, he still looks up to his dad as long as he has the hat. Carl should have told.
But then again, they had so much to deal with right now. Like, just like Morgan and Carol, like, we should not talk about this.
But let's talk about that. What would have happened if Carl would have told Rick, hey, by the way, Ron just tried to kill me? Rick had an axe in his hand. What do you think Rick would have done?
But then Jessie, his mother, was right there too.
Well, then she better just stand back because Rick has an axe.
Jessie's whole family, besides her,
they're a problem.
They are. She's the only one that's actually, useful.
Maybe the kids are adopted.
That still doesn't change it.
No.
They just need to get rid of everybody from Alexandria.
Yeah. The Alexandrians are very frustrating. So we got some Gabriel hate. Yes, he serves no purpose. I think that there's a lot of bloat in this show now because, like I said, with the Eugene and the Tara and the Rosita thing, it's just like it doesn't really add anything to this episode.
I did really like that part with Father Gabriel though, when he says, "I'm not gonna run back. Like I'm gonna stay strong," and Rick says, "I know." Like I thought that was a good moment.
You know what?
He's another useless character that has.
At least Rick believed in him.
I don't know. I think that there's too much bloat in this show, and I think that last night was an opportunity for them to get rid of some excess characters that they didn't take. And now we know that there's a big threat coming that we will get to, so maybe they're saving the body count for that. I don't know.
But I think that ties into Deanna's death wish or death message to Rick, that these are all his people now. It's not like his group that came in.
I really like that. I liked how they tied that together.
And I really hope Rick stands by that.
He wasn't sure about that, though. He never gave her a definite answer.
But, someone's on their deathbed giving you advice. Mostly characters listen to that.
So, let's get to, because I see there's some messages about Carol and Morgan. Did you like the Carol and Morgan fight?
Carol she's a super spy. That was some...
I like that in the Carol and Morgan fight, Morgan didn't just knock out Carol. She actually put up a fight. And
he pulled a finishing move on her.
And it body slammed there on her head.
Yeah, and I think the fight itself was fun.
Yeah,
but,
she didn't have a concussion. She does now.
But how many people really want to see Morgan die after that? You messed with our Carol.
Yeah, I know. I never disliked Morgan. I just don't like what he's been doing this season.
I still think Morgan's one of the best fighters and he's helpful.
I know, but it doesn't matter if he's a liability. If he's going to do stupid things to get everyone killed, it doesn't matter how good he is at fighting or how much he knows or could apply his skills if he won't, except to do things that are dangerous. Carol is going to kill him. I think after last night's fight between Carol and Morgan, Carol absolutely would and will kill Morgan if she gets the opportunity.
Everyone says they love Morgan up until that fight. I think I'm the minority. I still root for Morgan. Not against Carol, but like I still think Morgan is necessary.
I still don't think they should have been doing that at that time.
That's what Morgan was saying.
It was just too much crap going on. Like, who cares?
That's
about,
exactly what
like,
Morgan said. He's like, we should talk about this, but not now.
Nikki says Carol is going to tell Rick. I don't even know if she will. I think Carol, at this point, she would just handle it herself. It goes back to the prison with the people that are infected, and she kills them and drags them out and burns them, and then it's a big conspiracy. Tyrese is trying to figure out. Carol just gets the job done. And I think that if she has any suspicion that Rick would hesitate at this point, she's probably 100% sold. She would not open up for the possibility of not getting the job done. And somebody says my biggest problem with the show is there are too many characters I just don't care about.
Exactly.
Is Denise the doctor?
Baby,
Denise is the doctor. But yeah, I think that... So, speaking of characters that we don't really know yet, Denise, like, we've met her. There's been a couple of episodes. She gets taken captive by the wolf. They're putting a lot of emphasis into her. I know that she's the actress is an accomplished actress, and it was a big deal whenever she joined the show. But does anybody care about Denise yet? Like, if it would have been a character that we cared about, that we knew, if the wolf would have taken...
I really thought she was going to die when
someone else hostage, would we care more?
There's really no character that came into this season that I care about from the originals.
But I don't think they're doing a good job of establishing these characters. Like, one thing that my wife pointed out, Heath, right? He's the dude with the dreadlocks that we saw early in the season.
Oh yeah, we had like one episode with him.
We saw him in like one episode. We saw him a couple times. We saw him over a few
didn't
episodes.
Didn't they promote him so much that he was going to be...
And he's a big comic book character, and they brought him into the show. And where's he been? Right? Because he was with Michonne last that I remember him having any lines. And they came back. So where's Heath? Like, where do all these Alexandrians go when they're not on screen? Because there's not...
And the wolf...
They're not doing a good job of telling the story.
Yeah, to Nikki, the wolf definitely did know the walkers were out there. Like, they warned him. They're like, you're not going to make it. He's just like, we'll see. So,
well, he also knows that if he's sticking around, Carol's going to kill him.
Yeah, the wolves are crazy.
So, if anyone knows where Heath is, and why is nobody worried about him? Because we haven't seen him for weeks.
Wasn't he last with Michonne and Glenn and those guys?
Well, he was with Michonne, and Michonne gives the speech in the episode where Glenn gets killed about... not knowing if the blood is a walker's or your friends, and that's a really good scene. And I guess Heath's entire purpose is to exist for Michonne to give one speech to. I don't know. It just feels like, and Aaron is a great character too. And I'd love to see more Aaron. So it's like, can we get rid of the characters we don't care about? And whenever we see Gabriel, could we instead see Aaron? Or could we instead give Heath an opportunity to actually
Gabriel's
be
going to
liked?
snap at some point, though.
They have to build him up to something because
he's been here for
they've let him skate by for too long, and something's got to happen with Gabriel. But it's just like either do it soon or just do it soon. Just get him out of the way.
Let's go to the end of the episode when they camouflage themselves.
Okay, so the camouflage. There's been... Since the first season, we know that in this world, if you cover yourself in walker guts, you can walk around and the walkers can't tell that you're a human, right? And they leave you alone. And so, since season 1, there's been all these fans that have been saying, like, why don't they do this all the time? Well, if they can camouflage themselves and walk around safely, why don't they do this?
I guess they smell pretty bad,
But last night, well, of course, that's one problem. But on The Talking Dead last night, for those of you who actually stayed up an hour later than you should have to watch it, Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead, was on, and he finally answered this, where he said it's just not practical, right? Because, first of all, there's all the potential diseases you could get, not just turning into a walker by having walker guts all over you all the time, but like it's just not hygienic. That's how diseases are spread. And the other thing is that the guts would dry out and they'd lose their potency, so you'd have to always be replenishing it. So it's not a practical thing to do. And that's good. Like, I appreciate that.
Plus, you can't do that in a short time. Like,
No.
they plan that.
And so I like that now that we have an explanation for why they don't do it all the time, I'm happy with that, because that's been something that's been bugging me and I think a lot of other fans for a long time. And I'm glad that he finally addressed it. But still, it was on The Talking Dead. They haven't put it into the show. So it's like, why doesn't... Last night was a perfect example, right? Jesse could have said, hey, wait a second, why don't we do this all the time? And Rick or anyone could have said, well, it's not practical, whatever.
Imagine covering yourself.
Spend 5 seconds with a throwaway line, and then we'll save 5 years of wondering. That's all I'm asking for.
And then we get Sam just ruining that made me mad. The very end of the episode.
Right.
Sam's just, Mom,
there's a million of these walkers around.
I'm thirsty.
Shut up, Sam.
Sam. Mom,
I hope
need
she
to go to the
turns
bathroom.
around and like smacks him or something.
Well, that's
Like,
also
yeah,
frustrating.
just
Like,
cover his mouth.
why is nobody doing anything
Pretend
about
you
this
can't
kid?
You don't see Judith crying.
Right.
She was under a
I know.
blanket.
Be more
of-
like the baby Sam.
She was under a blanket of dead guts.
I mean,
Judith Grimes.
Sam is annoying. I think
Yeah.
if I would have been the one holding Sam's hand, I would have just shoved him right in.
I mean, it's a crazy good cliffhanger, but
What's
kid.
up with the ants in the beginning of the episode?
That was supposed to be like zombies, like attacking.
yeah, but it's a
Alexandria, I think.
cookie.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
I
I
guess
did
so.
like the one thing I liked about Sam in this episode is that they open the episode with him in his room. He's got all his toys. And he's being a kid, but he's drawing a picture of himself tied to a tree, surrounded by walkers, which is what Carol threatened him with, right?
Ah.
And then the cookie
So yeah,
there,
someone's mentioned.
the cookie that's covered in ants. He clearly did not eat the whole cookie, and the cookies are his thing with Carol.
So it's a metaphor that he's
I
gonna
get
screw
it.
everything up.
Right. It's a metaphor that Carol has completely messed up this kid's psyche, but clearly not enough because he hasn't learned to keep his mouth shut.
Okay, now let's go into the prologue they gave us.
Okay. So if you did not stay up for The Talking Dead,
Or did not go online today.
did not see online, there is a prologue, they call it, for the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead, which is what's going to premiere in February, right? And we get a Negan name drop. So if you don't know who Negan is, he is this big bad villain from the comic books. And everyone always describes him as kind of like the Governor, but much, much worse. And so anyone who knows that he was in the comics has been waiting for a long time for him to finally make it into the TV show. And we know Jeffrey Dean Morgan was cast to play him, which everybody seems to universally love that casting, because it's always been like, well, who's going to play him when they finally introduce? Now we know. And so you get to spend February 14th, Valentine's Day, maybe not a date with Negan, but at least with his men. Because in this really great prologue, this sneak peek from this mid-season premiere, we see that it's Daryl and Sasha and Abraham are in this fuel truck driving along, and these dudes with guns and motorcycles are blocking the road, and they're Negan's men. And they say, the truck is ours, your guns are ours, your mints in your glove
That
compartment
guy's
are ours.
speech was he planned
Porn
that.
underneath their seats.
Everything, your seats, the seat covers, everything is ours, or everything belongs to Negan.
The guys he was with probably like, hey, I bet you can't like name 10 random things that is ours.
Well,
now.
you can tell they've done this many times before, and every time they do it just to entertain themselves, they add one more.
It's like a
ridiculous thing.
bingo of random things you can
Right.
throw into that list. Oh, he said porn.
Like I said, they should have took out the rocket launcher and blew him to hell.
Exactly, and so my frustration.
Yeah, where was the rocket launcher?
Daryl's been a
frustration.
big wuss all year.
No,
Laying down.
everyone's gonna
all
fire the rocket
season.
launcher. It's gonna be Abraham.
So we know that Abraham found a Humvee with a box of cigars and an untouched rocket launcher on the back, and that was a couple episodes ago. And it's like, well, why didn't he take the Humvee, right? Because if there's a box of cigars that nobody touched, and there's a rocket launcher that nobody touched,
Bound to be a
there's
working
probably keys in the Humvee, and it's another one of those frustrating things. It's like the Walker Guts. Just give us 5 seconds of him looking in and seeing that there's no keys in the ignition, and then we can move past it. But they don't do that, so it's frustrating. And now we know he has a rocket launcher. We know that they're stopped by dudes on motorcycles with guns that are all clustered together. When you get out of the vehicle, can you just take the rocket launcher with you?
Listen, these guys are supposed to be prepared for everything. They already got sideswiped by that, I guess Negan's group. Is that who those people were before?
Yeah, the Saviors, is what they're called.
It's not a safe drive, and the walkers aren't the problem. It's these other people. Get your rocket launcher ready.
Right.
You know, somebody be sitting on the top.
We don't
of
know
that truck.
how that's going to end, though. Because we'll have to wait till February 14th.
Yeah, we don't know how it's ending.
Maybe he will pull out the rocket launcher.
Maybe they'll somehow use it. It's like you don't introduce a rocket launcher and not use it. But then if you introduce a rocket launcher and then you hand it over to the series' greatest villain, it's very frustrating. And yes, it's also frustrating that Daryl does not have his crossbow, and he lost his motorcycle, and I'm still upset about that because I'm thinking like Mad Max, right? This is a custom chopper that Daryl put together. How did he not put a kill switch on this thing, right?
Yeah.
If I'm Daryl and I am building a custom motorcycle, I'm going to have some button somewhere that the thing does not turn on if you don't flip it. Like, the people in this world are just, they're getting dumber by the season. And Daryl used to be a badass, and he just seems to be a pushover so far in the, 2 times we've seen
That's
him.
the thing. Rick knows so much about the walkers. He's like, oh, eventually if we just stay quiet here, they'll cluster up in the corners.
Yeah.
Like, is someone, just watching herds of walkers and, doing
Doing a
keeping
walker
data?
study?
Yeah,
That's what we needed Milton for. Remember Milton?
Yeah, he was a walker studier.
I wish they would have kept him around.
Yeah, someone needs to be studying the walk patterns of walkers.
Yeah, or just Eugene.
Yeah.
Eugene, listen, he's sitting there reading a book on history.
Just have him on top of the building, jotting
Eugene,
down
your
notes.
job now is to figure out walkers. Go study them, right? And if he doesn't come back, I don't think anyone's going to be that sad. What else? Was there anything else that we need to talk about? Is there any? Do you have any other questions? Or are you just really excited for Valentine's Day now? Because I see a lot of hearts, and I'm assuming that's because we're all looking forward to Valentine's Day and more Walking Dead. Did you guys hear about Andrew Lincoln leaving?
Is that official?
This rumor's been going around for a long time that Andrew Lincoln wants to move on. I don't expect that to happen. Listen, with actors, you're dealing with personalities, and certainly he could decide as an actor he doesn't want to be on the show anymore. But I don't see Andrew Lincoln leaving anytime soon because
AMC can't afford to have him leave.
Exactly. I think AMC, The Walking Dead is AMC. Going back to business here, they're going to pull a dump truck full of money up to his house if he really wants to leave, and I don't think we have to worry about that anytime soon. Eugene sure studied Abraham and Rosita. He certainly did.
Cards
Sasha,
on the table, not gonna lie, I was looking.
Sasha and Abraham. I mean, let's see if they even make it out of the mid-season premiere, because it looks like if these highwaymen are taking all the guns in the truck and everything, are they going to take Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham captive? And, there's a big comic book moment when Negan's introduced, and
Don't spoil it.
I don't want to spoil it, but I think that there's a precedent for his people to take captives. So we'll see. It could be a rough season.
If they do get captured, though, that might be a good way for Daryl to get his crossbow or motorcycle back.
Well, of course he's going to get it back.
Yep.
But it's also fun because the character who took the crossbow in the episode with Daryl a couple episodes ago, they did not refer to him by name in that episode, but we've since found out his name is Dwight. They've confirmed that. He's a character from the comic books, and in the comic books he is a member of the Saviors, Negan's group, and he carries a crossbow. So it's fun how they connected that. I guess it's
a little Easter egg.
Daryl's crossbow. What else? Is that it?
I think we covered everything.
This was possibly our longest episode.
Yeah, but there was
Yeah.
so much to talk about. So we are going to be, if you watch Arrow and The Flash, we'll be on Wednesday.
If you like crossbows,
if you like
Arrow.
arrows, yeah, it's a little different, but we'll be talking about that on Wednesday. And there's a big crossover event between Arrow and The Flash, so there'll be a lot to talk about. Join us Wednesday around 5 o'clock for
5
that.
o'clock. We'll be posting on Twitter exactly when.
If you missed the sneak peek of the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead, the thing that aired during The Talking Dead that nobody stayed up for, we have posted it. It is on essential.tv, and we will tweet out the link from @EssentialDead today. So you definitely need to watch it. It's a great setup, and I'm really excited to see a real villain in this show again, because I feel like maybe all the problems that I've had with this season so far, like, who's the villain of season 6 so far? I think it's incompetence, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's
There's
a bunch
no,
of,
yeah, there's no set villain.
and so the show's been very frustrating all season, and I think that the show is at its strongest whenever there's something to rally behind, and I think Negan's going to be that, so I'm really excited for the second half of this season.
And unfortunately, we don't get Fear the Walking Dead to fill the gap. That's probably going to have to wait for next summer.
Yeah, Fear the Walking Dead, I think, they haven't announced it, but I think it's going to premiere shortly after the Walking Dead season finale, season 6 finale.
Which should be in April, May.
Let's see.
It'll probably come out like the week after that.
But they might not want to do it during the summer, so they might wait. But Fear the Walking Dead's getting a full season order, because last season was 6 episodes. This is going to be a full season, so expect 16 episodes.
Okay, so then they'll probably go right after The Walking Dead.
And they'll probably schedule it so it leads right into the October premiere of The Walking Dead.
You think it'll be a pickup or left up, or a new set of characters?
No, it's going to be a continuation.
Yeah, right.
Fear the Walking Dead is definitely going to be a continuation of what we last saw. And in the meantime, all those episodes are available to stream. And I guess we'll be doing that while we're waiting until February, right?
So with that, keep on walking until February. So it's a long time to be walking.
Yeah. Just walk your way into a quarry and hang out there with thousands of your friends.
Yeah. But come join us on Wednesday to talk Flash and Arrow.
Right. And keep tweeting @EssentialDead, @Essential_TV, and visit us at www.essential.tv, where we will continue to update all the developments in the world of The Walking Dead and these other great shows that we watch, and share with us there. All right, thanks everyone. We will talk to you soon.